Good morning once again. I'm just leaving Oracle, where I spent 2 nights at Anne's. Anne's just dropped me off, bless her. Absolutely great time. I really enjoyed my time there. That trailer, I could live in that, I really could. But I do have a nice story for a change. My voice is going. I do have a nice story for a change that I'll go into more when it gets a bit lighter. I have got a really steep climb now. I'm heading for Summerhaven. Well, I'm heading for Oracle Ridge first, and then that'll take me up Mount Lemmon to Summerhaven, where I hope to stop and get a cool drink, and that's about 13 mile. A final look back to Oracle. And if you look out there, look, if you can see him, that's Antelope Peak. If you remember, I came over him, well, to the right side of that a couple of days ago. Right, I said I was going to tell you a cool story from yesterday, so I'm just going in a little bit of shade. Back in 22, when I did the trail northbound, I headed into Oracle and I was going towards the library because I know they got internet. I wanted to get in touch with my family back home just to let them know that everything was okay. And I got to the library and it was shut. It shut I didn't know this, but at that particular day, excuse me, it shut at 12 and it was about 10 past. So I'm sat there like going, shit. Excuse me again. And a little old lady came out of her car. She goes, oh, can I help you? So I told her the tale. I said, well, I was just hoping to get in touch with my family. I'm from the UK, you know. She says, well, the library's it's still on, the Wi-Fi. It's not password protected. You can use it from here. So I put my phone. I thought, oh my God. I said, oh, thank you so much, my love. That's really nice, good of you. And she says, so what part of where part of the UK are you from? I said, oh, England. She says, oh, I used to be. I'm giving you a short version. We sat and talked for 10-15 minutes. She used to be an English lit teacher. She always wanted to go to England, especially Devon and Cornwall. Now, I'd walked in with the 2 Canadian boys that I'd camped with a couple of times, and they weren't stopping. They was going into Oracle to the post office, and then we'd agreed to meet up the road. It's a cafe. We was going to have something to eat, then they was going to go back on trail, and I was going to go to Anne's. So we were talking for a bit. They were the library's set back from the main road. So the Canadian boys, they go walking across the bottom. So I shout to them, I said, boys, I said, Wi-Fi's on if you want to send any messages. So they came up, she started talking to them. She goes, anybody need the toilet? I said, well, oh, no, I'm okay, love. And one of the boys, well, I could use it. So she opened all the library up, turned the lights and everything, so these guys could use the toilet. Bless you, lovely. So then she came out, she goes, so where are you heading for now? So I told her, she says, oh yeah, I know what you mean. She says, what, do you want a lift? I said, oh, it's all right, love, you've done enough for it. It's only just up the road. She goes, no, I'm going that way, it's not a problem. So we said, okay. So we jumped into the back of the pickup. She took us there, me and the three Canadians. And we got off out of the cafe where I went to yesterday in the day, beautiful cafe. So we invited her in and she says, oh, I'm not hungry. I said, no, come on, well, get something to drink then. So we took her in. And we were sat there, getting not excited, but talking about what we were going to do and blah. And I realised she was quiet, so I engaged her in conversation. I said, oh, how long were you teaching for? Where was you? Just to talk to her. And then she says, oh, I'm ever so pleased that you're going hiking. I used to do a little bit of hiking myself, not as much as what you're doing. I used to go hiking with my husband. I said, oh, don't you bother anymore? Like, she was, well, my husband passed away recently. I mean, your table just went flat. We're there talking all excited about getting on trail, and this poor lady's just lost her husband. She only probably works at the library, to get out of the house, a bit of company sort of thing. So we got outside, I gave her a hug and we had a photograph taken, and then she took the 2 Canadian boys back to the trail and I never saw her again. So this time I came, I thought, I'm going to check this library out, see if Janette's there. Janette was her name. I never forgot her name, never forgot her. I thought, if she's there, I'm just going to have a little quick walk into the library, see if I can see her. If she's there, I'm going back to that cafe because they've got like a bakery attached to it, and they've got cakes and beautiful homemade stuff. I'm going to get her a cake and take it in and give it to her, you know, just to say thank you for what she did 3 years ago. So I got to the library, went in. There's no sign of her. There's just an elderly guy behind the desk, just me and him. So I had a quick walk around to make sure she wasn't stacking books somewhere. Only a small place. No sign of her. So I went back to him. I says, this is going to sound like a really, really weird question, my friend, but do you know anybody called Janette that used to work here or still works here? He went, oh no, that don't ring a bell, my friend. And I told him the story. He says, oh no. I said, no. He said, how long ago? I said, 3 years ago. He said, no, I'm sorry, I don't know. And they're all volunteers, by the way. So we stood, well, I was stood, maybe 10 or 15 minutes just talking about the town and everything else, you know. I thought, well, that's that, you know. And then a lady walked in, and then she walked around the back of where this guy was stood into an office. So I thought, oh, I bet she might, I'm going to ask her. He had the same thing. So he turned around and goes, oh, he says, you don't know anybody called Janette that used to work here, do you? She said, yeah, Janette, yeah, sure, I've known her for years, lovely lady. He said, oh, this gentleman's trying to get in touch with her, trying to find. So she looked at me, I said, it's not like that. So I told her the story, you know, 3 years ago, I went through it all again with her. And I just wanted to come in and just to say thank you to her. She said, oh no, she's fine. She's sold up, God bless her. She sold up and she's moved back east with her family. And it made my day. It really did. Because I thought, you know, she may have passed away because she was a good bit older than me. But yeah. She said, oh, yeah, we keep in touch. We do keep in touch. Because in fact, there's a letter look from her from April. There's a letter on like a notice board telling her everything we're going with her. Yeah, so she sold up, moved back east to be with her family, bless her. We're grandkids. Yeah, I was chuffed to bits. And I says to her, next time she gets in touch, tell her that an Englishman came in who met her 3 years ago. She did 2 little favours for 3 years ago and he's not forgot her. He was going to buy her a cake. So she's missed out on a cake, tell her. Yeah. So that cheered me up no end. Right, I shall carry on. Pretty sure that's the Oro Valley right down there, if you can see it. That's just on the outskirts of Tucson. Tucson's to the left, but you can't see it just yet. And my climbing's not over by a long way. Well, there's Mount Lemmon, look, just to the right. You can see the masts on it. The Santa Catalinas. But I'm now going up this on a dirt road and it is extremely steep. But thankfully a lot of it is in the shade, so that'll help. But I remember coming down this and it's all rocky, pebbly and really slippy, like walking on marbles. So I'll take my time. But going up's easier than coming down when it's like that though, to be fair. There's Oracle down there, if you can see it. That's where I've come from this morning. And that was a damn steep climb. And it's not over yet. I'm nearly at the top of this bit, but plenty more coming up. That is Oracle Ridge that I've mentioned a few times. I've now got up to this elevation and I just follow that. Now unfortunately, if you follow the ridge with your eyes, you can see where it goes. It goes right up to where Mount Lemmon is, look, and joins up with the ridgeline with Mount Lemmon. But apparently there's been a bit of a dispute over land and who's got access, and we've got to drop right the freaking way into that valley down there and then come up another ridge. That's what it's showing on the map, but I'm going to wait till I get to that position. If there's no sign saying no entry, I'm just following the ridge. Because that's a whole lot of extra work, is that. And the sun's going to be on me all day. Right, let's have a quick look into my future. That mountain there, behind this bloody spindly tree thing, that's Mount Lemmon. That's where I've got to get to, just to the left. And then behind, I'm going to have to stick some arrows up here. I can't point because I can't see through my screen. It's sun's shining on it. That mountain there That's Mount Meeker or Meeker Mountain. That's the Saguaro National Park. Coming further round to the left, that mountain range, I'm pretty sure just about there. No, maybe the further one. That one there. Patagonia, I don't know that. I think that's called the Black Mountain or the Black Range. I'm not 100% sure, but Patagonia is at the bottom of there. This, the town I'm going to be stopping at. And then I'm absolutely certain, if you can pick it up, that mountain range you can see right in the distance. I can barely see it because of how faint it is with the glare. That's the Huachucas. That's where I'm going. The other side of there is Mexico. So I'm about 185, 190 miles away. And this is just a nice look down into the valley that I've just come out of. I haven't come out of that bit, but that's the elevation I've come up from. Oracle's further to the left. What a great view. I just hope I don't have to drop right down into that valley and come back up again. It's going to kill my legs. There's a better view. And there's the ridge I'm going along at the minute. There's great views, there really is. And that's the high point of Mount Lemmon where those masts are, if you can see them. I get up and over just to the left of them, where Summerhaven is. Little town. Right, if you can see right down there in the valley, the flat area, that's Oracle. All those buildings, I hope you can pick them out. And then to the right, obviously, that's where I've come from. Follow this ridge line all the way. A lot of up and down. It's nearly all been uphill, but a lot of up and down. And now I'm nearly at the road. That is Mount Lemmon. Let's get past these bushes. There's Mount Lemmon, look, that's the top. I've been pointing that out for the last 3 or 4 days. And that little bit of a ridge just there, maybe half a mile away, is the road into Summerhaven, which I shall show you when I get there. I think all these are like mobile rent homes, I think. I won't be sure. Right, half an hour pit stop. I've had a litre of Powerade, electrolytes, a bit of fudge and a sandwich, chicken and ham sandwich. So back to it. I'm 13.5 mile in, excuse the wind. And I'd like to get a 20-mile day today if I can, because most of this is downhill now. Beautiful downhill as well. So I'm probably going to get 7 or 8 more miles. It's about 1:45, so we'll see. Not far from Marshall Gulch trailhead. And that's a good sign. Lemon Creek's got water in it. I'm looking forward to this stretch. I really enjoyed it 3 years ago coming up it, and it was steep. You go through quite a big area called Wilderness of Rocks. I've mentioned it before in my Grand Enchantment Trail videos, because you go through a similar, and the Santa Teresa Mountains is a similar looking area, very similar. And then from there you drop down to Romero Pass, which is really steep, lovely views, and from there you travel pretty much all the way down the West Sabino Canyon, past Hutch's pool, and there's some really good camp spots down there. So I'm looking forward to this bit, really am. What a great little water stop, and it's lovely and cool. Look how clear it is. These mountain streams, mate, I tell you. Beautiful. Want me to filter that? Yeah, wilderness of rocks, they aren't kidding. There's the sun just setting. And that down there is Tucson. That and that down there. Beautiful. Nice still night. I've got a nice I'll show you my pitch before it gets too dark. And then I'm going to come back when it gets dark and get Tucson when it's all lit up. Here's my pitch up here. It's only about 60 foot away. Ooh, my old buds. But it's all rock down there and I have trouble getting my pegs in, so I came back here. And if you know me, I love my pine needles. So there's my pitch. Absolutely gorgeous. Nice and soft. Pegs have gone straight in. I'm just going to get something to eat, like I say, wait while it gets dark, and then I'm hoping to get a decent shot of Tucson at night. Well, good morning. Once again, that is Tucson down there, but I've got the morning view now. About 6 o'clock. What a lovely view. That is where I'm headed, down that canyon. That's West Sabino Canyon. Yeah, I'm going to have a nice downhill morning for a change. So I've just made Romero Pass. I'm now heading down West Sabino Canyon like I've showed you earlier. But that mountain that you can see in the distance, that's Mount Meeker. Or Meeker Mountain, I still haven't worked out which way it goes. And that's Saguaro National Park. So the way my mileage is working out, I need to get up and over that in a day. Because you've got to get camping permits to camp there. You've got 2 campsites. Cottonwood campsite and Manning Camp, which is on the top. Usually I would camp there, but it means I'm going to be hitting that sometime late morning, early afternoon. So if I was to get a campsite, I'd have to sit there most of the afternoon and wait for it to get dark to camp. So I'm going to try and get up and over in one day and avoid that delay. That's where I'm headed. Trust the sun to be in the wrong place. West Sabino Canyon. The only thing wrong with doing a trail like this southbound, that goes for a lot, especially in America, southern states, is the sun's in your face all day, so it's really not easy getting decent shots with your video camera. And I can hear water down there. So that's good news. Further on, I shall be topping up when the trail drops down towards the down to the creek. Now this is Hutch's Pool. It's rather well known on the trail. As you can see, there's some right camp spots. It's got a couple of good camp spots, but it's also got a pool that you can swim in. Not that I'm going to be taking only the miles in, but we've got good water, look. Oh, there's the pool. Oh yeah. See him in there, look. Look how clear that was. I can see the bottom everywhere. Wow. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to have 5 minutes here, top up with water, and then get off. Okay, forget that last clip. That wasn't Hutch's Pool. This is Hutch's Pool. It's about 30-40 yards maybe from back where I just did that last clip. I could hear like waterfall, so I thought, oh, what's that up there? So I walked up here and there it is. That's where you go swimming. Not that bit that I showed you. But what an oasis. Look at this. Shaded as well. This will be shaded all day because of the situation, where it is, all the trees and the cover. Wow. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm about 13 mile in, so I'm about halfway what I'm trying to do. I'm going to need to hike with the head torch on, I think, tonight. I'm a couple of miles away from Molino Basin, where there's a campground and some water and maybe a bit of shade. If there is, I'll be having a quick 10-minute break, and I'm probably going to end this video there, and then my next video will be from Molino Basin to Colossal Cave. So yeah, I've just stocked up with water from there. I didn't need much, if I'm honest. Just had a quick 5-minute break. I'm at Molino Basin. I've just left the campground. Campground's other side of the road. Nothing there for me. So I'm going to call this video here. Like I say, I'm 15 miles in. I'm going to try and get another 10. It's 2 o'clock. I mean, I'm going to struggle. I might have to put my headlamp on, but we'll see. I've got a good old climb out here now. One haven't I? And then it does go flat for a little bit. So maybe I'll do it. We'll wait and see. But if I do, you'll see. Catch you all in the next one.